What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Jargon. Today, I have some pretty interesting plot leaks for the upcoming Skeleton Crew show that have not been shared anywhere else on YouTube at this point. Now, these are some leaks that I found on Reddit a couple weeks ago from an anonymous user, and I actually think there's a lot of evidence in the trailers that we have suggesting these to be true. So let's get right into the leaks. I'm going to kind of cover the really important points, and then we can talk about the evidence in the trailers that suggests that these plot leaks are very, very likely true. So the first thing in the trailer we see is this suburban futuristic planet that kind of resembles something you'd see on Earth. But the really interesting thing in this plot leak is that this planet was actually designed by the Empire, and that it's sort of an oasis or a utopia for the high-ranking officers within the Imperial ranks. The leaker says that what we see in the trailer only represents about 1/3 of the planet, and that the rest is actually comprised of labor camps and some sort of mining extractions for natural resources. And supposedly this planet is the last planet in the galaxy at this point in time that is fully controlled by the Empire. And the New Republic has actually been trying to find it since the destruction of the second Death Star. So this isn't something that's unlike, Tantus that we saw in the Bad Batch or Exegol from the sequels. Basically, it's not easy to find. It's really isolated, and supposedly you need coordinates to get there. So the New Republic has offered lots of credits to anyone who has information about the planet, but they never seem to get anything worthy. And that kind of leads us into the actual plot of the kids who accidentally stumble upon a downed or abandoned ship and somehow get it working, and they get themselves off of this planet, and they actually enter the wider Star Wars galaxy that is being, now controlled by the New Republic. So this sparks a lot of worry, I guess, within the community and the Imperial rankings on that planet that these kids are gone and that the New Republic now is going to have a way to find this planet. The kids get into some trouble. They get locked up in a prison. That's where they meet Jude Law's character, which is Jod Nanawood, and he helps them actually escape from this prison. But he isn't really willing to help the kids return to their planet. That isn't until they tell him where they're from. Supposedly, this Jod character is a pirate that screwed over his pirate crew, and that's where we see the wolf guy in the trailer. And when he learns of these kids coming from this planet, and I'm not sure what the name is at this point in time, and I don't think anyone really knows, not even the leaker, that's when he realizes that he has a way back in with his pirate crew because of the large bounty that's been given, by the New Republic to find this specific place. So supposedly Jod and the kids are gonna have to make some sort of unlikely alliance with this other pirate crew, but the leaker doesn't go too much into, the remaining details besides the fact that Jod is definitely not a fan of the Empire because of what happened during Order 66. Supposedly his master was killed at that point. Then he joined the pirate crew to kind of stay under the Empire's radar. So I'm not sure if he's going to turn on the rest of the pirates at some point. Probably sounds more likely. Obviously, this is one of those stories that's supposed to be reminiscent of the 80s, Spielberg type stories, which have a lot of, hopes and kind of have a happy ending most of the time. So I think that's definitely a possibility. But honestly, the big leak here is about this planet and the New Republic trying to find this planet. And obviously, what is going on this planet? What is the Empire trying to hide? But let's talk about why I think these leaks are very, very true. The first thing being that, we get a lot of shots of this suburban planet in the trailer, and not once will you see a New Republic sigil, which we've seen many, many times now through the shows, especially going back to Mando season 3 and Ahsoka season 1. We see all the children in the school wearing a specific uniform with a very interesting symbol on it. Not really sure what that means, but if you remember right, we saw a school in Mandalorian on Navarro, and the children were not wearing uniforms in that particular school. So there definitely seems to be some uniformity to these kids and to the society that they live in. And I do want to jump forward. There's a pretty interesting shot where one of the main kids is looking on his tablet at what appears to be a Jedi, maybe fighting like a Rancor or something like that. And we immediately think, oh, this is like a story of Luke. Now I want to analyze that a little bit more. Now this could be stories of the old Republic or old stories, pre-Empire that are being shared in his school. But he is looking at this tablet in the dark, and we actually see a shot of him looking over his shoulder as if it's not something he's supposed to be looking at. There's also a very high probability that this is some sort of propaganda, anti-Jedi propaganda that's kind of spreading the word of, Luke Skywalker and what he was able to do all by himself, and how no one should probably wield all that power on their own. So I think that's a really interesting bit that we see in the trailer. And obviously this kid has some fascination with the Jedi. We hear him say something along the lines of, "Oh, I think it might be a lost Jedi temple," or when Jada Nawood grabs the keys, like, "You're a Jedi." So he definitely has some fascination, but I think that's a fascination he might be keeping kind of secret, especially considering that shot of him looking over his shoulder, like he's not supposed to be looking at this on his tablet. Another point in the trailer, we see the kids say, "We're lost. We're really lost." And the only reason I can actually consider that they actually think they're lost, especially because of a lot of these ships have coordinates already put in place. They have maps of the entire New Republic area of the galaxy, is because they've never been to this part of the galaxy and they're not really familiar with this part of the galaxy. Maybe in school, they're not even taught this is a place, the New Republic is a thing. But we do know that they end up in the same place that the New Republic is present because of the X-Wings that we see in the trailer. So that is pretty good evidence that wherever they do end up, the New Republic is very, very present. So to take this even a step further, I'm going to talk about the leaked Star Wars Celebration trailer. And I'm not going to show any clips from it because I don't get it struck for copyright or anything like that. But there's a pretty interesting tidbit towards the end of the trailer where we see what are seemingly two parents talking about the children being lost. But we do see one of the parents searching on a computer within what looks like an office area, and he's looking kind of over his shoulder. A droid is watching him pretty carefully, almost as if there's a high surveillance within the place they're in. And I think that just lends a little bit more evidence to this whole, the Empire is running this planet theory. I don't think they want anyone to know that the kids are lost because they seem to be talking in secret here as well. But I do think, there is a lot of evidence pointing towards the fact that this is very, very true, that this plot leak is. And this leaker, which is Mediocre Broccoli, I don't know who this is. It kind of came out of nowhere, honestly, on Reddit. They really haven't said anything else at this point, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye out to see if there are any more leaks pertaining to the show. We don't have anything about, cameos or how it ends or anything like that, but I think we really now have a solid look at what the actual plot of the show is going to be and where the conflict is going to kind of come from. But honestly, this only gets me more excited for the show. I do think this is going to be kind of one that's flying under the radar, maybe something more akin to Andor at first, but I do think if they really hit a home run here, especially with the Spielberg, Amblin 80s style feel that they're going for, which it seems that they've captured, if they can really capture that and draw people in, I think it's going to be a pretty popular show. And honestly, I love having some more a different side of the Empire, a side that we don't really ever get to see. So looks really promising. Definitely head over to Reddit Star Wars Leaks if you want to read more about it. Like I said, it's Mediocre Broccoli is the leaker here, but I didn't see any other posts from them about this show. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. December 3rd, we're getting the show, and we might be getting another trailer around the end of this month, and maybe that will confirm some of this, this plot leak here, especially kind of the Imperial side of it. So we'll look out for that trailer then, and we will be covering that on this channel, Jar Jar Jargon, as well. So please do hit subscribe. And once again, guys, thanks for watching.